Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jonathan. I'm your host from TajiriNet Media, where we are all about career exploration, wealth education, and lifestyle empowerment. So today we have a very special guest, someone who works in the corporate world. I want y'all to give a warm welcome to Dejoria Roberson. So Dejoria works in Charles Schwab, which is a financial firm, right?
Yes.
Now, I actually don't know a ton about finances, which is why I'm very much looking forward to this interview. Whenever I think of a firm, I just think of like a boardroom with a bunch of old guys gathered around a long table discussing contracts and stuff, but it's probably not actually like that. So how would you describe your actual role in that organization?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to
no
be
problem.
here. Definitely support the vision, so thank you for doing this. So you're actually not wrong, but you're not right either.
Okay.
So there's a lot more to corporate than just in a boardroom or in meetings. There's like so much more to it. It's just so much more to it. But me personally, I actually work in HR, so I work in human resources at Charles Schwab. And I actually started off on like advisor services at Charles Schwab, but I wanted to pursue my career in HR because I had more of a passion for that versus actually like trading on stock and stuff like that. But I do like the finance firm. So like I was like, let me stay in here, but just build my way up. So I worked my way up in corporate. I didn't always work in HR there. But I would say for HR specifically, I would say that we do so many things, but everything starts with HR. So like, although I don't work with external clients, I support internal clients and they work with external clients, right? So what I do is very crucial because I want to make sure that our internal clients are taken care of so our external clients are taken care of. So my day-to-day is really working with employees and making sure that I provide the best employee experience.
I got you. So here's another misconception. When I think of HR, human resources, I think of the person that does the hiring, does the firing, does the training events, right? So am I still right or wrong, somewhere in between?
You are, but also we look at a lot of other things too. But we do that. That's a major part of what we do.
Gotcha.
We do hiring. We have the talent acquisition. We have the employee relations, which they handle more of that side of, the firing and things like that. We don't call it firing, we call it terminations. But we do handle those type of things. But we do a lot more in HR. So we're about employee morale. So we try to boost the morale within organizations. We try to engage people. We try to find different ways to engage people. We also try to find ways of developing people. So like, we're just not about like trying to get people out the door. We want to find the best talent and we want to develop the talent and keep the talent. So we have to do research. That doesn't just come with like, okay, now we have them, what we're going to do with them. So we try to find, like within Schwab, one of the big things that I love about Schwab, which is different from some of the other employers that I've been with, is that we do strength assessment. So we don't just look at what you're not good at. We try to find out what you're good at and we try to use that to the best of the ability. So we do what we call strength assessments. And so it's a huge thing. Most employers are using it now, but Schwab is just really huge on it. So, but I would say that it's just so much more to HR than just the hiring and things like that. Some of the things that I mentioned today, and one of the things that I really love about my job specifically is that I look for areas of process improvement. So I'm able to really get my hands on some things and really use some of my talents and skills and to really be that support to the organization.
Gotcha. So I'm big on analogies. Would you say that the HR department kind of functions as the glue that keeps the organization working together in terms of the people?
Absolutely. That's a perfect way to explain what HR is, which is why I love HR, because I've always been really big on business, but I didn't know what area of business I wanted to go into. But HR is like that's like the top. Like, if you get that right, everything else just flows.
Right.
Like, if you can get the human resources portion of business right, everything else just flows.
Gotcha.
And so we're definitely the glue that holds everything together within a business and organization, which is why I love human resources.
Awesome. So how exactly would you say, because when you speak on it, I can tell that you're very exuberant and very interested in what you do, and that's great. Because here at TajiriNet, we always believe that people should pursue what you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
And so, what would you say are some personality characteristics that seem best fit for that type of work?
So for HR or for business?
We'll focus on HR for now.
So for HR, I would definitely say analytical, being able to think outside of the box. So not just looking at one specific situation or scenario, but really being able to just think outside of the box. Take an initiative, not waiting for people to tell you something, but really being the one that's like, you know what, I have an idea, I'm gonna go tell it. That's one thing that I'm huge on is putting my best foot forward and saying, you know what, I have this idea, and not being afraid to express it. Some ideas are not gonna come to light, but at least you said it, you know what I mean? Because you never know. And then later on, that even though it doesn't come to idea right now or come, out later on, it may come back and you're like, you know what? I remember when Dejoria said this, or I remember when this specific person said that. So I would just say really being able to take initiative, being able to communicate effectively. So, being able to listen to people and also being able to receive. So you have to be able to accept feedback, right? You can't just go throughout developing other people without developing yourself.
Right.
So that's really key to HR, just having those strong listening skills and really being able to articulate things to other people, and just being open. Just being open to change. Change management is huge. Right now in HR and in business specifically, an agile approach is like huge for business.
Agile.
So yeah, agile is like, look it up, it's so much to it, guys. But just agile, just being able to just be so open to change and being able to work with so many different people. Those are some of the strong ones, but I can go on and on and on about that, right? But I really would say, honestly, in business and in HR, all skills are needed. There's not one specific skills that's not needed, which is why diversity and inclusion is so big within a business organization.
Gotcha. Awesome. And that's a lot of skills to have, guys. But that's why we're in school. That's why we get our education. Now, speaking on education, what would you say that you were prepared for your role as HR in terms of what you were taught, say, in high school and college? Do you feel that the education that you received was adequate in preparing you for your job?
So I would say the fundamental was there, right?
Okay.
But as far as some of those soft skills, I think they missed the mark on that.
Right.
I would really say that education, I'm huge on education. Like, I definitely believe being educated is important, but you can be educated on so many different levels. But I will say understanding soft skills is really key. Like, there's a lot of things that can be taught, but soft skills are one of those things that you really just have to have that starting off, and that's just like some of those work ethics. Those are things that can't necessarily be taught. It's some of those things that you kind of have to experience.
Right.
And then also I would say one thing that I would say college didn't really prepare me for is the importance of brand. Building a brand within your workplace is huge. I mean, it goes such a long way. But they don't teach you that in school. They teach you, this is the book, this is the test, you need to study for it, right? And you need to pass this test, you need to know this information, but they don't tell me like my brand that I build today will carry me throughout my entire career.
Right.
And so I would say personal branding is huge, guys. Like that, if there's one thing that you don't learn from this entire podcast or whatever is that we're doing today, interview, if there's one thing that you don't learn from this, it is truly building a brand for yourself. Because that's something that no one can take from you. So I would say that's one thing that I wish that they would have told me throughout school or just throughout my life, that, you know, I had to learn along the way. And you're gonna make mistakes. You know, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, even though I'm still building my brand, but I will say that I had to go through a lot of loops and holes and things like that to get to a point where I was like, you know what? I get it. I need to build a brand for myself. One thing that Charles Schwab has taught me is owning your tomorrow. Like that's our whole slogan, and like owning your tomorrow. And so now that I know that I am the key to my future, the sky's the limit. Money is unlimited. So I'm just excited that I was able to learn that now, but I would say going forward, I want to make sure that I let others know that that is truly the key to success.
Awesome. And I like that saying that you're making your tomorrow, essentially. And that's a very big deal, you know. So moving on, we're gonna wrap this up. Now, obviously, it's not all about money.
Right.
Life is not all about money, but as you guys can tell, she's very passionate about what she does. Can you briefly educate us on, for those of us that are interested in pursuing more of the HR aspect of business, what is a possible range of a salary that they can expect to make once they get out of college?
So right out of college, depending on the demographic, like where you are, is different tiers, geographic tiers, but I would say definitely will range from about $45,000 to $55,000 starting off, straight out of school. The hardest thing about HR, though, I will be honest with you, is trying to find an entry-level job, because most of the entry-level jobs say 1 to 3 years. But it's like, well, I just graduated a month ago.
Right.
So sometimes you may have to take that path where you may have to do like I did. I started out as advisor services on the phones, customer service, still getting some, again, those soft skills. And I built my way up throughout the company. And sometimes you may have to start that way, and that's okay. But I would say, you know, just depending on where you are, people who stay in California, their range may look a little bit different from those that live in Texas. But I would say between 45 and 55 is a starting entry-level range. Gotcha.
And of course, there's room for growth as you climb the ranks.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So y'all aren't going to be stuck in one job. If this is what you're interested in, you can go up different levels. Now, as you go up those different levels, I'm sure that the workload increases. And what a lot of people that are professional minded often wonder about is, you know, dang, how am I going to balance all this work with my home life? You know, I have a family, I have friends, I might have children, I might have a whole other side hustle. How do you manage that?
So I would say staying organized and keeping work at work and home at home, separating the two. So not bringing work home. You know, I don't come home sometimes. Of course, if I'm having a bad day, I may come home and tell my husband about it, but I try not to take that out on my family, if that makes sense. I try to leave that there, even if I have to breathe for a moment. But I really try to stay organized. Like I try to, you know, make a schedule of my week or my day, just doing things that makes me happy. So like on my way to work, I may listen to some, you know, gospel music on my way to work, or a podcast, or just trying to get my day started off right. And then even throughout the day, I may need some little pick-me-ups. So, you know, I may turn on another podcast or something at lunchtime. So truly trying to find a balance between that. And sometimes you may get thrown off track a little bit, but I would say for the most part, I try to stick to my schedule.
Gotcha. That's good. That's very good. And to add on to that, you know, I just want to reiterate the fact that you got to let work stay at work. You got to let home stay at home. And as a school teacher myself, I understand how challenging it can be taking papers home to grade, and then, wait, this is my house. I'm supposed to be relaxed here. I'm still working. So I'm glad that you were able to speak on that. So before we get out of here, very last question. For those that are in high school or college and they are just, you know, really perplexed on what pathway they should take, and they feel a little pull towards business, and they might be looking towards HR. What would be some maybe some just words of wisdom from Dejoria that you would bless them with?
So I would say if you have a passion within business, try to find a mentor. Like, absolutely try to find a mentor. If you see other business people that you see are successful, okay, I get it. Like, this is a new day and age. Everybody has social media. Start following some successful business people on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. Like, stop following all these people that aren't doing nothing for themselves and start getting you and building you a network. It's not what you know, it's truly who you know. Start going to some free seminars online. Like, they have so many different things. Okay, you're on social media, you need to add a LinkedIn account if you're talking about business. Like, start doing some of that. Shadow some people, go to different events, talk to your parents to see if they know some people who they may know that you can talk to. There's so many different opportunities out there, but building a network is huge if you want to get into the business side of things.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it yourself. You want to make sure that you stay networked, find yourself a mentor, get plugged into a community of like-minded individuals that are also going to help you get to that career. So that's it for today's interview, guys. If you have any questions for me, any questions for our special guest, Dejoria, please feel free to drop those in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also do us a favor and share this video with a friend or family member who you know might be interested in pursuing this career. Dejoria, thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And we are out of here.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.